This is a really fascinating show. Can you tell me about how you found out about it, if you knew about the book beforehand, etc.?
Yeah, I definitely knew about the book beforehand. I was already a fan of Octavia Butler. I'd actually been introduced to her by my mom, who knew that I was really into science fiction. So she introduced me to Fledgling. And then gradually I had begun to read Kindred and I fell in love with it. So yeah, I was already a fan.
I was aware of Octavia Butler as a thinker and a philosopher, but I was not familiar with her works. And so first the script came to me, and I was immediately inspired by that, and that led me to the book, which then I devoured pretty promptly.
How would you say the two are different, the show and the book?
You know, it's so funny because there's actually not that many fundamental differences between the book and the show, but there are changes that are made that kind of affect the character dynamics. And I guess that could be considered fundamental, but they were changes that I initially just understood. You know, I could see where they really sprouted from. They never confused me or made me feel like, oh, I feel like this is entirely separate from the book, but it felt very intertwined with, the vision that Octavia Butler had created or wanted to create.
Do you think most people will come into this show with the knowledge of Octavia Butler, or this will be the first sort of exposure for them?
I don't know. I mean, I hope that, she gets some new fans with this coming out. But it seems like from what I've seen, it seems like there's a lot of fans that are really, really excited to see the show, mostly fans. But obviously, of course, I hope it reaches all types of audiences. I really do.
Yeah, remind me of your question. I had a brilliant response, and then I forgot the question.
Whether you think this will be a new introduction to Octavia Butler for people who watch the show, or whether it's mostly fans who will flock to it.
No, I think there'll be lots of new people who are attracted to it, and I think that's a wonderful thing. I mean, people talk about one of the people that we've had access to is a woman from the Octavia Butler Legacy Project, and she referred to Octavia's writing as social science fiction, and whether or not that's a officially designated genre or not, I don't know, but I think that's something that's very much a part of the conversation right now. What are these ways in which our society has been shaped by early systems? And so I think that theme, and also it's in many ways it's an adventure story at the heart of it. So I don't think there's a lot of people who wouldn't sign on for a great hero like Dana.
I was also struck by the lightheartedness and even the comedy of it, especially like going into the second episode when they're, back in time and Dana is like, I got this. This is fine. Just relax. And Kevin's like, no, this is not. This is insane. Like, how could I just do this and go along with these racist ideas and everything? What is it like filming those scenes?
I think they feel just as absurd as they feel to them, I mean, which makes our jobs easier?
Yeah.
Question mark?
Yeah, that's so true. The same discordance that I feel as an actor trying to figure out, is this something that I would lean towards, that I would react in this sort of way, or is this something that is this an emotion that I would try to conceal and stay determined to survive? I don't know. That not knowing was essential to I feel like the journey of the character as well, or the journey of the characters.
Did you shoot in order, or were the scenes set in the present and the past done back to back the way they are in the show?
No. And maybe that was good. But no, we shot all over the place. It was very...
It felt like there was a weird sort of reflection of the discordance of the time travel and the going back and forth and the differences and how much time passes in the past versus how much time passes in the present. I think, the way that we shot, which was, there were times where we were doing pickups from, all 8 episodes in one day. So that we were certainly felt shot out of a cannon, I think, very similar to the way that they do. Yeah. Although, we had the safety net of reality.
Well, I do think that it all makes sense, or doesn't make sense in the way it's supposed to, at least, when it's put together. And I appreciate, I'm somebody who I want time travel to have certain rules. And so even if it's not clear what the rules are here, I like that there's an intentionality behind it, and that's part of the process. It's figuring out what does it mean, why is it like that. And on the note of time, I know that all 8 episodes are coming out on the same day. Would you recommend that audiences block off the time and watch the entire thing, or is it better to break this one up?
I think they should binge it. Personally, I just feel like it's such a fast-paced story, and it's gonna make you want to keep clicking like next episode, that I encourage you to click next episode. You know, I think that's how it's meant to feel, like this whirlwind of space and time. So I hope that audiences do binge it.
I think people will have difficulty, you know, turning away once they've dove in. You know, I mean, you know, apart from, you know, the obviously the more difficult themes and events of the story, it's engrossing. It's deeply engrossing. It's one of the few projects I've ever been in where I felt as engrossed as an audience member as I did as an actor making it, which I think is, you know, a pretty high compliment, I guess, of the show that we made, of our own show,
to me.
Of my show.
And what do you think will surprise audiences most just about this show in general?
Everything. I mean, I honestly, I just feel like every single episode has something that's gonna give some sort of shocking reaction. So I think they'll be surprised consistently throughout.
Yeah, I think potentially people will be surprised by the, you know, the different lenses that Brandon has brought in exploring this story. I mean, you specifically brought up some of the humor and the absurdity of it. You know, Brandon is a writer who knows that life is alternately tragic, comic, horrible, and amazing, all in one fell swoop. And I think the show is a true reflection of that, right? There are moments where we're gasping for air at the same time that we're chuckling, and moments that we're chuckling that then turn into a state of shock that we ever laughed at all. And I, you know, for me as someone who seeks out, you know, great art to watch, that's a very high compliment, and we have a very good show, and it's my show.
Goodbye.
Bye. See you.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Well, I think that's very true. And all 8 episodes will be available on FX on Hulu on December 13th. And you heard it here. Block off the time already. Don't plan for just one. Watch the whole thing. Thanks so much, guys. It was really nice to talk to you.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Awesome.